Hey there, Chad here. Welcome to another episode of FS22 Getting Started in Elm Creek. This is episode 5, and this is the episode where we will start doing harvesting. One quick point of order, setting up the video to record some of the stuff that I wanted to cover, I discovered that where I had located my silo, which was over in this area, was not accessible to automated workers, and that's one of the things I want to cover because it makes the game a lot more interesting to play from my perspective. So I moved the silo over here. I worked it out so that the money stayed even and using power tools. So I reset the amount of money I had to 11,684, put the same silo in, just a slightly different place, and there we have it. So this will be something that automated workers can get to. I think the problem over here had to do with the slope. It is August. We still have crops that are not quite ready to harvest yet, but we're going to advance a couple of months and then grab those out of the field. So if we look real quick, the the next crop that'll be ready to go is sorghum here in field 31. We're going to fast forward until all of these fields are ready to harvest so that I can rent it for a single day. I don't have to pay multiple days of rental fee. The amount of time I put on it is, you might recall, when you rent something, there's 3 price points. There's the flat fee that you're charged no matter what. There's the daily fee, you're charged per day that you have it in your possession, and then you're charged an hourly fee, and that's how much it gets used. So that's not going to change. I'm going to have to harvest these fields. What I'm trying to minimize is the number of times I pay that flat fee and the number of days that I use it. So I think it's going to be a long day of harvesting. By the time we're done with this, there'll probably be a lot of fast forwarding and skipping around. But we're going to go ahead and get that process started by sleeping until tomorrow. Okay, and a quick sanity check. We can see the corn grew a little bit. And if we look over here, this field is now ready to harvest. This field will be ready next month, and these probably need 2 more months. This one probably needs 3 or 4 months. It is now September. We're going to go ahead and fast forward again. And one thing to note, I didn't really plan this out, right? These fields were already planted when the game started. The pricing for all of the items as these get ready to be harvested will be at rock bottom. So we're actually going to store everything for a while. I'll eventually move stuff off and sell it, but initially we're in October now. We're going to be harvesting in November and December. The prices are very, very bad for all of these crops. This is sorghum. So we look at the prices that we can expect. So sorghum. Now this is showing that we're going to be at a higher end on the prices. That's a good thing. So we'll probably sell that right away as we're harvesting it. I was under the impression that we were kind of on the downslope of that one. The others are, we'll be looking at corn. Corn will peak again here in January, so that's not a real long wait. Soybeans though, soybeans don't peak until July. We're going to be at the lowest price next month. So we're going to fast forward 1 more month. I think that's what we need here. Now we don't want to wait too long because crops will start to wither and then we lose everything, and that's no good. But we're going to get away with 1 more month here. And today is the day, and I decided we'd go ahead and wake up a little early to get started. There are a couple of things that we are going to need to do. First, going to need to take out a loan. Bought a field that we're going to ultimately sell back, but we're low on cash right now, so we've got quite a bit of loans out. I think we'll be able to pay off a good chunk of this here in the very near future, but we're going to need to rent a lot of equipment, including a wagon to pick things up, and it is raining, and you do not want to harvest in the rain, so this is fantastic. Let's see what the weather looks like the rest of the day. 10 o'clock it should clean up, so okay, we're going to have to fast forward a little bit of time to get to 10 o'clock, but then we will start our harvest. In the meantime, we can rent and pick up some equipment. Now with as much harvesting as needs to be done, I'm willing to splurge a little bit and get a larger piece of equipment. I probably should look at headers first. We've got fields of sorghum, corn, and soy. Sorghum and soy will be picked up with a grain header. Let's see what we got here. We go here with a good 12 meter with the Massey Ferguson. Let's go ahead and do that. grab this Massey Ferguson. We're only going to rent it, $35.95. And we'll take the Massey Ferguson Harvester as well. Go with this one. We do want GPS. Make our life just a little bit easier. And that's going to be a pretty penny. So we're looking at $25,000 just for combine and the grain header. We're also going to need a corn header. And I think we'll go with a 10 meter. Yeah, let's go with the 9. We'll go with that one. Whoops, I almost hit buy there. I don't want to buy it. We want to lease that. That'll be another $4,000. So we're at $30,000 just for the rental of the equipment to harvest. We're going to need a wagon. I want to get a fairly decent sized one. That's pretty good. It'll carry everything we need. Has a pretty good weight limit on it. We're going to hit the weight limit well before we hit the volume limit, unfortunately. That is a setting I have set right now. Contemplating whether or not it's worth that extra, not so much effort, but frustration, but we'll go with it for now. We'll go with the standard wagon. That is a big wagon. And fortunately, this doesn't lease for too much. It's only about $3,500. So we're going to say yes to that. And at this point, it's a matter of waiting out the rain. So we'll go ahead and wait until the weather breaks, and then we will start our farming here. Okay, about an hour has passed, and it is still raining, but I'm at the store. I wanted to show the equipment that we're renting. The first item on the left there is a baler. That we actually bought because it was on sale. The second is, of course, the grain header, then the combine, the corn header, and the wagon. And as expected, the rain stopped right about 10 o'clock. Long way. There we go. And jump in there and we will get started. Now, soybeans and sorghum, the two grains that I have, do not do straw. So hitting the enable straw swath key there will not do anything. It's just going to continue this graphic.
I don't think you know what you're doing, babe. You've had it rough. You've been gone for days, and oh, I've had enough. I don't appreciate you on your own, but you left me here, and you know I can't stand being alone. Have you no idea?
Okay, that's all the soybeans we have. You'll notice we picked up about 5,000 liters. And if we were to look at prices on that right now, soybeans, 500 liters, that's going to be 5,000 liters, so 5 units basically. We make about $5,000 on that. Maybe a little more at the farmer's market. We are in a very low point, November. So we're at about the bottom here. We're going to have to wait nearly a year before we sell those for a really good price. And that'll be okay. So let's drop these off here. Once we are over bin, we should get the old, yep, I went a little too far there. There we go. That'll auto empty because it is a recognized unload spot. And now we will go and do the sorghum field. I'm really quick going to set up guidance steering. Let's go ahead and turn the harvester off for a second. Well, actually that's not necessary. Go ahead and set this up. Have to go about 15 yards. So what I did there is I set the first point by double clicking Alt E and then rolling 15 meters. By clicking it again, and now we are good to go. I'm going to go ahead and have it run its effectively autopilot. And while that's going on, I'm going to get the wagon here and I'm going to have him drive over to our field. Another go-to. Let's see if he can make this happen. I think he can. Let's put him over here. And we'll have a little more fun with him in a bit. And driving to target. So we will see him show up in a moment.
What you've done. Don't ask questions, I need answers, and you've got none.
And there you see the tractor coming with the wagon. He's just going to park over there. I'll get a message up at the top of the screen that he's completed his job once he's where he wants to be. Or she. All right, so just a real quick comment here. That is one pass on this field, and we pulled in 4,500 liters of sorghum. We filled the hopper here 33%, so we could possibly do 3 passes. Probably won't make 3 full passes before it's full. It'd be really close. Could happen. My point for that is those 2 soy fields we had, the small fields, we got a total of 5,000 liters of soy. Now, the different grains, they harvest at different rates. So it's not exactly apples to apples, but just to give you an idea of how much bigger this field is than those, that's kind of what I wanted to demonstrate there. Okay.
You throw me down, turn around, and you say that you love me, but you won't let go. In my eyes, you're all I see, but I hope my love, my love, my love, you'll never see. 'Cause in my eyes, you're just a dream, but no, my love, my love, my love, you'll never see what I've been doing.
We're gonna be just shy of 100% full, and that's okay. I want to demonstrate one other thing here. So I'm going to pause right there, not pause, but stop. So now we have this little area here that, you know, is accessible, and what I want to do is I'm going to set up our truck there to do a loop so that we can always unload in the same spot. And we'll have to move him eventually, but for now, I'm going to jump over here, fire this up. What I want to do is park him on the little bitty access road there. Somewhere that's easy to get to. Actually, I'm going to put him just off the access road so that when I get to this spot, it won't be quite as painful. We're going to stop him right there, and I'm going to go ahead and shut his engine off. And what I'm going to do, I think there's 2 things in play here. First, I'm going to select him. We're going to create a job for him. We're going to create a job. Now, we've done go-tos before. This time, we're going to go over to load and deliver is not what we want, although you might think. We're going to have him load up and then take this to the silo. But load and deliver is for like emptying something from one silo and taking it to another. So that's not what we want. What we want is deliver. And for deliver, we have a couple of options. First of all, I need to tell it where I want to take it. Now, you can, I'm going to have him take it to my grain station here. So to find it, I'm going to go through here, and eventually I will find one that's named a little differently. Right there. Okay, so this is my silo that I built. Now I could just go with that, but there's something else we can do here, and we're going to do that real quick. We're going to go into construction. That's not construction. That's construction. Okay, and I'm going to go over to my silo. Should have done this when I built it, and maybe I did. As you recall, I had to move it because it wasn't quite in an accessible location. But in case we didn't cover this, what I can do is click on it, And I can rename it. And we're going to give it a name, Mochad Silo 01. There we go. That's our silo now. So then we escape out of here. We go back into create a job. We go to deliver. And as I go through here, we will now have Mochad Silo 1, and it will flash. The loading position is defaulted to where I am right now, and that's fine. If I wanted to change where that was going to be, I could click this, place it really anywhere I want. We'll go ahead and put it right there. And I'm going to tell it looping. What looping will do is it's going to load up, and once the wagon is full, it's going to drive over here, unload the grain, and return to this exact spot. No looping gets rid of this. Well, actually, the load position will stay. It'll go and find a spot, but he basically would go to the silo and then unload, and he'd be done. His job would be over. We're going to do looping so that I'm going to empty. He'll run his route, come back. I'll empty again. When he's full, he'll run his route and come back. That's really what we want to do. We're going to start that, and he's waiting to be filled. Now, I've seen a couple of weirdnesses in doing this. Okay, so first of all, I'm still on the truck, and I don't need to be on the truck. I need to be here. One thing I ran into is if you're going the same direction as the wagon when you're unloading and he's ready to do his delivery, it sometimes thinks you're blocking it and it will cancel the job. So I'm going to kind of load from the rear here. Now, I won't fill it up this time. It'd probably take 2, maybe 3 full loads of grain before he'll be ready to go, but we'll fast forward to that. But long story short, once he's full, he's going to drive off, unload it into my silo, and come back to this spot. So we'll go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this field unless we run into some difficulty, and see you on the other side. Now, before I actually get started here, one thing I want to mention, that is a paid worker right now. So he's, I believe he's on the clock right now, even while he's waiting. I could be mistaken there. I haven't really done any tests to see exactly how that works. But we pay our workers pretty good wage right now, and there's a way to back that down some. We will eventually use that. I don't think I've installed that mod. What if that was my kid over there driving the tractor? You know, am I going to pay him the same that I would pay a hired hand? Hard to say, right? Family business, maybe not. So I tend to knock the prices down a little bit, make the labor costs a little more reasonable. There's a mod to do that. That's your choice if you would want to do that or not. I believe they're paid $1,000 an hour right now. That seems a little high, and I realize we're not talking about real hours, but from a game perspective, still feels a little high. So we're going to lower that using a mod in the future, but today we're going to let it go. And enjoy.
'Cause in my eyes, you're just a dream. But no, my love, my love, my love, you'll never see. What I've been doing, babe. You've seen enough. I'm right here, and I don't know why you're fed up. Do you not appreciate my every move? You're just not looking hard enough, 'cause it's all for you. Have you no idea what you've done? Don't ask questions, I need answers, and you've got none. You throw me down and turn around, and you say that you love me, but you won't let go. In my eyes, you're all I see, but I hope my love, my love, my love, you'll never see. 'Cause in my eyes, you're just a dream. But no, my love, my love, my love, you'll never see. In my eyes, you're just a dream. But no, my love, my love, my love, you'll never see.
Had a little technical difficulty there with the sound. My microphone, when I put it on mute, it didn't come off mute. So you probably saw that we switched over from doing soybeans to corn. I normally would have kind of narrated that, but I thought I'd just go ahead and let the song finish since I lost what I had said then anyway. We'll go ahead and call this video here, and we will start the next one with finishing up the corn. There's been a lot of fast forwarding, as you've seen. I think we've probably gone through about 50 minutes of harvest so far. Harvesting these big fields does take time if you don't have help, and that's something to consider. So we'll go ahead and finish this up. I will start episode 6 with the completion of the corn harvest. Don't know how long that one's going to last. If it goes relatively quickly, we'll get started on field prep for the next rotation of cycling the crops. Thanks for watching this time. Please consider subscribing and liking the video. I do appreciate it when you do that. And until next time, fair travels.